In Genesis 37, one of Jacob's sons, Joseph, is sold into slavery by his brothers, and they cover up their crime by taking his robe and soaking it in goat's blood, telling their father that his son was killed by a wild beast. And to make a long story short, the brother Joseph ends up in Egypt as a slave, right? And through some magic and nothing shady at all, he becomes the most powerful person in the country, rivaling only the Pharaoh. And eventually Joseph is rejoined by all his brothers and his father Jacob. And this is how we get to Exodus and Moses, where the Israelites are in Egypt. In addition, we can link Genesis 37 with the tribe of Judah and the first labor of Heracles, this tale of slaying the Nemean lion through the theme of a blood libel, where the garment of Joseph that was soaked in goat's blood and presented to Jacob is quite literally a blood libel. And we all know these fairy tales of a monster ravaging the countryside and a hero emerges to kill the beast, thus catapulting him into this legendary status. And in reality, it's BS. It's the robe brought back in goat's blood is how you can imagine the Nemean lion tale starts off, with a blood libel. And there isn't a real gigantic lion out there looming. Just like today, there's supposedly a huge threat sweeping the nation in the hills at night, but the situation is the lion has far greater problems. And that's revealed through the Omen of Judah, which I made a video on, where today we have much greater problems with addictions and other disorders revolving around psychological compulses compared to this fictional narrative. I mean, how many people die each year of drug addictions compared to this metaphorical scary lion ripping people to shreds when people are safe in their bed at night? This blood libel is a distraction for the greater mechanism of play, of a societal subversion at large. So let's read from Genesis 37. Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." His brothers agreed. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. Then they got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in the blood. They took the ornate robe back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." Meanwhile, the Midianites sold Joseph into Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. So Joseph ends up in Egypt as a slave, but ends up rising to second in command behind Pharaoh, and all the 12 sons of Jacob, or the 12 tribes of Israel, make it to Egypt, because of Joseph being sold into slavery, and Jacob being told this blood libel of a rampaging lion devouring humans. But in reality, this mechanism of ascending within a foreign society or political system is explained through the theme of a blood libel.